Hi, I'm Elizabeth Schulze, Music Director of the Maryland Symphony Orchestra. And on November 9th and 10th, the orchestra string sections take center stage, performing a program of music by Handel, Ernest Bloch, and Antonin Dvorak. Three beautiful works for the sound of strings that really identifies a group as an orchestra. I'm a violinist, so I'm a bit biased myself, but I have to say that these three works present the strings in such a wonderful, colorful way and in very different styles. The piece by Handel was written in 1739, and it was meant as interlude music in between larger works on a program of music solely by Handel. He cobbled together this concerto grosso from other works that he had written, organ concerto and also a overture to an opera that he hadn't finished yet. It was very common to borrow music from oneself, but in this case it all hangs together wonderfully, and only a genius like Handel could make us feel that it was meant to be together from the very beginning. In this piece you hear the sounds of birds, cuckoos and nightingales, you hear wonderful fugues, and you hear the popular dances of the day. It was a piece written in its time, for its time, and yet lasts centuries because of the fine quality of the interaction that he wrote for the players. A couple hundred years later, we move to Ernest Bloch, 1952, and he is writing a concerto grosso. Well, my goodness, it is quite different. It uses similar forms as Handel, but times have changed in the 20th century. In Ernest Bloch's life, 2 world wars have happened, and so the music itself carries a different kind of weight, even though it uses the popular forms of the 18th century, the dance forms and the fugues, the passacaglias. We are in a different world. Ernest Bloch believed that music could be redemptive. It had a spiritual quality for him, and he felt personally moved. It was his vocation to bring peace and kindness and goodness to the world through his music. We feel that sense of spirituality and earnestness in his music, and this is again a piece of music that I've known since I was a young violin player, and has absolute gorgeous melodies as well as harmonies that feel good to play and also good to listen to. And on our second half we have Antonin Dvorak's marvelous Serenade for Strings. This is a half an hour of the most sublime music you can imagine. It's fun to play, and that's one thing that sometimes we forget, that for the orchestra we are players, we are playing these marvelous musical games called music, and called symphonies or concertos or serenades, and the interaction that you'll see among the strings as they play some of the most beautiful melodies and some of the most difficult passages as well. It makes it a very special occasion, and I think you will enjoy this concert immensely.